What's up, Tiger fans? It's Morgan Thomas here with the Morgan Thomas Show. Thanks for tuning in to our live show this week. We had a great time. We enjoyed it. It was very good. We had a ton of people in on the comments, so we really appreciate the love and support. Now that we're back and doing live streams again for college football, tonight I wanted to talk to you about, should Clemson leave the ACC? I know it's been a big conversation as of late, so I wanted to get in on it as well. Houston Allen not with me, so I'm solo tonight, but I wanted to go ahead and let you know, make sure you like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on all of our exclusive Clemson content we put out every single week. All right, so getting into it, should Clemson leave the ACC? You know, me as a longtime Clemson fan and graduate, my first thought is yes. Clemson should definitely leave the ACC and try to get into the SEC and be part of this, what I believe is a slow developing, maybe a fast developing one, might be surprised, but a slow developing overtime super league that's going to be able to govern itself better than the NCAA ever was. A super league of teams that care about college football, and I'll get back to that more when it comes to regards to Clemson and the ACC. But there are some issues that are really important when it comes to, can Clemson leave the ACC? Because it's not really that simple. The first thing is an exit fee. So as I'm looking through online, checking out, see what options Clemson may or may not have, there's tons of articles out there if you want to go check them out from great media sources out there and some not so great. But the first thing is there's a $50 million exit fee for any ACC team that wants to leave, which that is a very, very hefty fine for any team. I mean, $50 million I may never make in my lifetime unless you want to hire me for your job. But unless you have a really nice job out there you want to hire me for, not just any kind of job. I need a $50 million job, by the way. But $50 million or more is a very big deal for any school. I think, though, Clemson's brand being the way it is, as popular as they are, as big as their fan base is, as loyal as their fan base is, and as much success as they've had on the national stage in not only playing football, but in recruiting, and the brand, the Tiger Paw is huge. I think that Clemson can handle paying a fee to get out. So as for that, I'm not so much worried about it because there's also that advantage of Clemson being able to leave and make money from rights from another conference, the SEC speaking specifically. But there's more to it than just that. We'll get to that. I know you're in the comments saying there's more to it. I know. There's more to it than just the exit fee. Before we get into what else is into it, I wanted to show you Clemson's last 10 meetings against the SEC. So let me pull it up real quick for you from Twitter. You're looking at College Football Kings on Twitter, and this was a graphic that they posted. Clemson versus the SEC. The last 10 meetings, you've got a win in the national championship, number 1 Alabama. Win against number 13 Auburn. I believe that was away. I did go to that game. Yeah, 14-6. Hunter Renfrow had a great game there. Those first two. Number 25, a win against number 25 South Carolina. A loss against Alabama. That was one with Kelly Bryant in the playoffs. A win against Texas A&M. A win against South Carolina. A win against number 1 Alabama. National championship game there as well. A win against number 12 Texas A&M. I think that number 12 Texas A&M was an away game. And then a win against South Carolina in 2019, 38-3. Not only to mention that, but that's 6 wins against South Carolina. And then your last game against the SEC is that 2019 game there, 42-25 in the national championship game. So 8 out of 10 meetings, Clemson has won. So if you're saying Clemson can't hang with anybody, I don't think that they can hang with the SEC. Well, if you look at that, that's not true. So obviously Clemson can hang with the SEC. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, they don't play every single SEC team, but I believe that Clemson can and will be successful in the SEC and be able to fight for SEC East or Pod A, Pod 4, 1, whatever it may be. I know that Clemson, I have the confidence with their recruiting, with their coaching, with their continuity, and with their past success, Clemson will be able to hang with the SEC, just as you're seeing there, and continue their real, dominance against the SEC as far as 8 out of 10 wins there. So that's my first thought is there is an issue of the exit fee. Clemson, I think, can address that and can overcome that. Clemson can, when they get to the SEC, if they go, can hang with the SEC as we're seeing. The biggest issue that we really have is the grant of rights. So the ACC signed a contract with ESPN, and they also extended their conference grant of rights. So I have down here, it expires in 2036. Well, it's 2021 right now. So in 15 years, this expires. And if you don't know anything about the grant of rights, it's the permission to relinquish control of television rights. ESPN puts it as schools' media rights, including revenue for all home games, would be the ACC's regardless of team affiliation, which at that point is really big, because my first thought is 2036. Ouch. That is huge. Now, at the time, Clemson committed to that, and I think it was a great idea. I don't think it was a bad idea, but 2036 now, looking back, so at the time, not so bad, but now that's a long way away. And at the time, it was 20 years away. Now it's only 15 because we're further down the road, but that is something that's hard to overcome because, as we know, things move fast, especially in college football, and things are going to get worked out well before 2036. Do you think that college football is still going to be trying to figure out conferences 15 years from now? There's going to be so many things different 15 years from now. My life's going to be completely different. Your life's going to be completely different. And definitely college football is going to be completely different. Heck, my daughter is going to be done or almost done or halfway through, depending on how much she pays attention in class. My daughter's going to be in college, possibly, hopefully at Clemson. And so this is kind of crazy to think that this is that far out away, that a whole life is going to be everybody's life's going to be completely different. So that is a concern for me. But I will say, my first thought when I think about that is, if Clemson is the only team to leave, I don't think they can do it. But if Notre Dame, which has already shown they don't care anything about joining the ACC, and the ACC didn't put their foot down last year enough for me to have any confidence in them demanding that they join the ACC. So Notre Dame, you can't trust them. Florida State, I'm already seeing things on boards that they are looking into their possibilities of getting out of the ACC. Now, that may be just fan speak there, but you got to take it for something. I mean, we got to realize this has been going on for 6 months and nobody knew about it but Texas and Oklahoma, and now they've dropped the bomb on us 6 months later. So we don't know everything, and we can't expect to know everything. And just because teams said, hey, they're good, Texas and Oklahoma were the founding members of the Big 12. So Florida State, Clemson, if they get together, maybe Florida State, Clemson, Notre Dame, maybe Florida State, Clemson, Notre Dame, Miami get together. If the top teams, hey, even say North Carolina, let's not forget them. If the teams that care the most, as I was mentioning before, to put the money in college football are tired of playing against teams that don't care, and they're ready to get in a conference that is a part of a competitive group of teams that are ready to spend money and willing to spend money on college football to become the best and stay being the best and compete with the best, then if those 4 teams leave the ACC and say, hey, you know what, we're ready to pay money. We're ready to spend our money on football. We're ready to pay you to get out. I think that would make the grant of rights a difficult situation because, again, it all hinges on media rights. And what is the ACC going to do with media rights and with more money if they really effectively have no conference or no fan following because all their top teams have gone? And then what if they lose their ESPN rights with the ACC network because they have lost all of their top teams? I think it would have to be a drastic shift. It can't just be just like it was. It had to be Oklahoma and Texas together. It can't just be Clemson by themselves. It has to be Clemson with Florida State. Has to be Clemson with, I would say, maybe even more than just Florida State, because of how far out this grant of right is and because of the price tag and the fact that it not only is their revenue from home games, but their media rights for those games as well. So definitely a difficult situation. So there's some pros. They can definitely fight and compete with those teams in the SEC. Another thing, too, is that it'd be great to see those teams. What about a matchup, Clemson versus Georgia, Clemson versus Alabama, more often? What about a matchup, Clemson versus Florida, Tennessee? Some new rivalries being developed from teams, again, that care and invest in college football. I think that would be really exciting from a Clemson standpoint. Hey, I'm telling you right now, I would buy a ticket for Texas playing in Death Valley. I would buy a ticket for Florida playing in Death Valley at any moment. And I did buy tickets this year, but to be honest with you, I'm not bragging about it. I mean, my friends say, why don't you join IPTAY? I would love to join IPTAY. I'm not joining IPTAY when your best team is Boston College on your home schedule. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. I've got to see a better schedule. I've got to see better competition. I'm not going to go to a game, spend thousands of dollars, and see blowouts and not see top players playing top players. Now, I will spend money to buy the 3-game package. I will spend money to buy the individual package. I know I've taken a couple of years off. I know you guys in the comments have been ragging me. My co-hosts have been ragging me too. I've been trying to save my money. But this year I did buy tickets. I'm not 100% happy about it. I mean, the games are not super exciting. I as a college football fan, though, I am excited about seeing what Wake Forest's offense is going to be like. I'm excited to see how Boston College has developed over the years. I'm excited to see if Milton and Florida State will be good this year. And I'm also really excited about taking my daughter to the UConn game, which is military appreciation, but she also loves Huskies, and we have a Husky. So, I'm excited about those games as a dad, as a college football fan in general. But are they marquee matchups that are going to be college game day worthy? No, they're not. They're not. Are they going to be big-time 8 o'clock matchups? No, I'm going to be burning my tail off. I'm going to have half a sunburn on half of my face, on one arm and not the other, right? You know what I'm talking about in Death Valley. So it's those kind of matchups that or situations with your home schedule that bother me when it comes to Clemson staying in the ACC. And then the fact that College Game Day is coming to a Clemson game. Oh, by the way, it's not going to be in Death Valley. It's going to be in Charlotte. And so that's frustrating too, where it seems like teams that are outside the SEC get negatively affected because they have to play neutral site games to be able to play those teams. Now, there are some teams out there like Texas A&M and Auburn that have the guts to play you home and home. Georgia also in the past have the guts to play you home and home. There's a lot of SEC teams, especially the top ones, I'm talking to you, that they'll only entertain it if it's a neutral site game. So definitely some things to think through if you're an ACC fan. I don't know if you're a Clemson fan, definitely. And if you're a college football fan in general, let me know in the comments. What do you think? Do you think that Clemson can hang? Again, I think so. Do you think it'd be a good idea for Clemson to go to the SEC? Maybe I'm completely crazy and you have a better idea. Put it in the comments. I'd love to see what you got to say and respond back to you. Don't forget to check out our live stream that comes on every single week. And also make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on all of our exclusive Clemson content we put out every single week.